You are now listening to Femme podcast with Tessa Markle
and Carolina Alvarez.
Femme.
Hey, Femme. How many of you are beginner filmmakers like us who are trying to learn the trade all on your own? Scouring the web for help can be time-consuming and limiting. I mean, that's how we've learned most of what we know. But what if there was a structured online course on cinematography that you can follow right in the comfort of your very own home, aka editing bay? And that's why we're excited to spill the tea about our partnership with Tropic Color, a leading company in the production of LUTs, effects, and more. Most importantly, they've developed an online course that includes over 70 topics, led by 2 professional DPs who've worked on all types of sets and really know the industry. Tropic Color's Cinematography Masterclass will take you through pre-production, lighting, camera breakdown, and more. Here at Femme, we only want to provide you with the best tools out there because we know it's possible to get better without having to spend thousands of dollars on film school. That's why we'd like to offer you a special discount code to sign up for Tropic Color's Cinematography Masterclass. Just head on over to tropiccolor.com, spelled the British way, TROPICCOLOUR, and use our code FEMME10, that's all caps, FEMME10, when you're checking out, and boom, all this knowledge at an already great price for an extra 10% off. Get it, fam?
Well, hello, fam. Welcome back to another episode in season 5. I promised I'd bring you guys accents.
Hello. Welcome, and today we have the lovely Mr. Connor Peters from Off the Script Podcast. Brought to you by Off the Script Podcast. Brought to you by
Femme. Listen, that's cutting into my marketing budget. I don't know if I can sponsor it all, but thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you here.
Connor, backstory, is a dear friend. I met him through one of my high school friends. Shout out to Eric Miner. Out here in LA, that he brought us together, and we both are film fanatics, so we really connected that way. So thank you, Eric, and thank you, Connor, for taking the time to come on our show.
No, I'm stoked. So just a little bit about I guess our show. We basically just kind of cover all types of film. Today we're going really old school, which I'm stoked about. I keep it a little more modern, usually 80s, 90s, and today I feel like a radio station saying that. So we've covered different topics. So Lord of the Rings is coming out with some new stuff, hopefully soon with Amazon. But in prep for that, we decided to do Game of Thrones, right? We touched on Harry Potter aspects, of course, Star Wars, kind of some nerdy stuff there. But then also Silence of the Lambs will dive deep into more Oscar movies.
I love
we touched on Parasite.
One.
Yeah,
those were my 2 favorites.
Movie.
I know.
Good movie.
Saw that with you, actually. It was a great time.
So I'm stoked. We got so much to kind of cover here today. Just thank you guys for having me. I'm actually really excited. Usually it's just me and my cousin just kind of messing around. So it's nice having a third, 2 new people to talk with.
Yes. So today, guys, we're going to have an off the script kind of podcast. So we, like Connor said, we chose to go with an older styled film. It is okay, you guys are going to laugh. I kept calling it the Millennium Falcon. And
wrong genre, but that's okay.
I caught myself saying that to my mom today, and I was like, no, this is so wrong. But no, it is the Maltese Falcon. It's a 1941 film directed and written by John Huston, and it debuted the wonderful, dashing Humphrey Bogart as the private investigator, Sam Spade, and Mary Astor, who Mary is the wonderful femme fatale.
Wait, hold on. Sam Spade is Humphrey Bogart. That's the character's name.
You're right.
The other big guy was Peter Lorre.
He technically stars in it, but yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Thank you. So, we chose it because, as you guys know, I've been talking about it for a long time now, but it's still happening, I've been working on my film Noir script, and it's kind of like our femme vibe. So, so do you guys want to talk about what a noir film is exactly?
I just want to, I found a little quote from United Cinema Group about this movie being the quintessential noir. So I'll just read that real quick. It says, "You may likely agree that it is a prototypical for the entire genre. It provides an excellent introduction to its world with expressionistic lighting, cynical characters, base motivations, and questionable moral code. And I thought that was cool because like it's all those things that you like you recognize when you're watching noir, but like if you had to list all the things in a noir, I don't know if I would even think of all of those, but
Exactly.
they're all really evident in this film.
Right.
Exactly. I think when I think of noir, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? The reality is there's usually a central character who's that in between good and evil, and then kind of towing the line consistently, and then trying to usually it's for their own self-interest. But then at the end of the movie, they typically end up doing the right thing, right? No matter what they may think, feel in this movie, it's with a girl, which almost all of them are. But yeah, we were talking about neo-noir movies. I was thinking of Drive. Drive's kind of a similar concept, right? Where you have this person in between good and bad worlds, and it's trying to make a decision which one to be more for. So, oh yeah, I'm down to jump right in if you guys are.
Let's do it. Let's have you lead, Connor.
All right. Well, thank you guys. So first off, I just want to say I actually love this movie. And 1941, I was actually pretty riveted by it, which is kind of amazing. And I know it's held its weight for a long time. I know it's on the AFI list, so I've been wanting to watch it for a while. But I guess my question for you guys, the beginning of the movie, we start off right away in San Fran. I laughed because I can't remember the initial character. It's Miss O'Shaughnessy, but I can't remember the initial name she drops. But as soon as she drops the name, I'm like, I don't think that's it.
Ruth Wonderly.
Ruth Wonderly, that's it. Yeah. You're like, I don't know. But anyway, what were you guys' thoughts? Because, as female filmmakers, right? I thought it was great actually seeing, as somebody who loves Mad Men, and I think it portrays the era excellently. I love seeing a 1941 movie actually star a, quite frankly, really powerful female right away.
Yeah. I mean, I love her character because like she's introduced in such a damsel in distress way. And you're like, oh, come on, really? And like, Sam's all like, oh, show her in. She's beautiful. And, blah, blah, blah. But then as the movie progresses though, like you realize A, she's not who she says she is. B, she might be like extremely evil. Like we don't even know.
And dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Dangerous, like.
So she ends up being kind of this whole like strong femme fatale, and I love that she's like she just deceives everybody in the beginning with that.
And I like how the movie consists. Yeah, sorry, Carolina.
No, I totally agree. Like the whole time though, like she had me fooled a couple times because I was just like her performance was so like sincere in the way you can tell she was deeply like fearful, but it was cool to then see her switch over. I think it was halfway through, kind of like that moment where you're like, okay, you got me, you got my number, detective. Like these waterworks like are like, I'm kind of scared for my life, but I'm also kind of the problem.
Yeah.
So Humphrey Bogart, I mean, really, you should know, typically just great actors for the generation.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
One of my favorites.
Excellent job, I think, throughout the whole movie. And I love where there's a scene where they're in her hotel room, essentially. And he essentially tells her, cut the crap.
Yeah.
I know this
exactly.
is...
That's the moment. Exactly. That's the moment.
And that's
right
when
there.
you're like, got it. And I love just how well he plays it. Right? He's interested the whole time in what this is, what the bird is. But realistically, the movie, I love these type of films because they aren't actually about the bird, right? It's more about human nature, how we interact. Miles, I think, is his partner at the beginning to kind of conclude, I guess, more the first act. They find out that, Miles is murdered and it's not exactly who you think. And we get these small hints where you weren't sure if it's, Miss Wonderly or Mr. Shaughnessy at the time, if it's maybe his ex or his wife, widow, rather.
Right.
I know there's a scene where they actually show her with the black gloves on. And that's the same black glove that you saw him get killed with. And so, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So you get these tidbits throughout, and you're like, who's exactly doing it? And it's, for a story, I like how we start off with the world building. And then we slowly kind of get pushed. You think it's going to be slow moving, and then get pushed right into it. 10 minutes in, we get a murder. And it's, okay, what's going on? Then Stalinsby, the guy who's tailing, he gets murdered. All right, so now we have multiple people in
I
on
almost missed that because it happened so quick. I was like, wait, and then I
Right.
saw the newspaper
Yeah.
article, and I was like, oh, he was murdered too. Spoiler alert, guys. This is what we're doing. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, we're dissecting this film. So spoiler alert.
In all fairness, it's been out for 70 years. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, guys, if you are also a Bogart fan, The Big Sleep is another one of my favorites that he's stars in.
Good for you.
Yes, definitely check that out.
I know you're Casablanca. I know you guys like Casablanca. Like everybody likes that movie.
I mean, you can't not like it, really.
Yeah, I'd actually only seen him in Casablanca. So it's kind of nice. I know he's in The African Queen, and it's just kind of nice seeing him in, I guess, different roles and seeing the different personas that they different actors take, especially on a black and white film screen. There's not a lot of palette to work with, and you still get moments where he's at the desk and he's kind of rolls his eyes. And you still catch this even with only like 2 or 3 film angles. So with that in mind, I guess just kind of looking at, I like kind of looking at the different characters in this. What are your guys' opinions on, I guess Gutman felt like the obvious, he's going to get him type guy. I mean, just overall, like what kind of were your thoughts on character development and how they're all portrayed, the ending, of course, we'll get to that in a few, but yeah.
I really enjoyed, well, I'll start with Bogart because we were just talking about him, Sam Spade. I enjoyed his character because to us now, living 70 years after Noir started, like he's so stereotypical, right? Like his partner's killed and he's like, scrape his name off the windows and change it to Samuel. And then he's like magically in love with the girl, like they just met and, they're like making out and he's like, I love you, darling. Like, it's just so stereotypical, but like, back then it wasn't, like that was brand new. So it's interesting to watch that. But I think my favorite character is probably Cairo because he's just so strange.
He looks so
the
weird.
French man, right?
I don't think I like genuinely don't know a word to describe him. When I was watching it and I was taking notes, I was like, what kind of adjective? And I was like,
snaky. He's like
snaky,
very
that's a good one.
Yeah, I wrote ferret-esque was my word.
Okay, ferret-esque. Yeah, it's just so like that whole like he's swarming. Like kind of sneaking, kind of getting into, one moment he has like he's totally trying to have a very civil kind of like proposal to like get something from the detective, and the next thing you know he's pulling a pistol on you, so like you're just
but then I kind of feel bad for him because he ends up being like, oh, you smacked me, I'm bleeding, like
so
clearly
true.
I just love doing all these 40s voices. I'm sorry you guys, I can't help myself.
Can we real quick talk about like how like fight choreography from back then to now, like in the movie, let's just talk about one swing, man is down and he is out cold. Like in any movie nowadays, like one punch is not gonna do it. You got to do like 10 punches and then they're still kind of like breathing, and then like maybe then they kind of pass out. But I just love like in these films it's just like one punch and done, and it's like it's kind of cool though. I don't know, it works.
Well, I watched John Wick 3, I guess a week ago. I hadn't seen it yet,
Wick 3
and
was amazing for fight choreography.
Right, fight choreography. It's just so funny comparing because I agree. Like I watched, I laughed so hard when he gets smacked one time, like all flustered.
Yeah,
and you go watch John Wick, and I mean, just choreography wise, you're like, whoa. I mean, back then they're like, we 2 punches tops.
Tops. Yeah.
I also love the one part whenever I can't think of the guy's name, the guy that Gutman had sent to kind of like trail Sam, that he said
Wilmer,
was like his son,
right? Wilmer.
Yeah. So Sam and Wilmer are like walking down the hallway, and Wilmer's got his hands in his pockets because the guns are there, and Sam just like pulls his coat down so his like arms are stuck to his body and pulls the guns out of his pockets. Like so easy. So it's just so funny. It's so smooth.
I love it.
Of all as a hitman, you'd think you'd be a little better suited than that, but
right.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it's so funny, and it's very 1940s, 1950s, obviously, but it is just funny seeing some of those stereotypes play out. And the villain, I laugh at Gutman, right? His name's Gutman, and he's a big fat guy.
Yeah.
I mean, how original. So,
Interesting too, because like for Sam Spade, the detective Bogart's character, like I would argue that he is also not entirely a saint, obvious, like he's just not, that's
Right.
and that's the style of the genre, like they aren't made to be these also heroic heroine characters. He's also kind of, he flirted with getting, the money to almost a bribe, and also just like his overall demeanor. Yeah, he sleeps with women. He's just like, it's that kind of guy. Like, married women, because that his partner's wife, and
Yeah.
it's just.
why not?
And I also love, though, like, but I kind of love like the menace and the cynic in him. Like, that's kind of a fun side of his character, and like it's almost like nothing really phases his moral compass or demeanor. He's unfazed by, whether the woman he just fell in love with, like has to now like maybe be sentenced to death. Who knows? Because she ended up, causing the entire thing to happen. And 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 he's just like, yeah, I mean, if it works out, I'll see ya later
Yeah.
down in 20 years. So
Yeah.
cool. Sayonara, baby.
Yeah. Do you mind if let's touch on the ending here?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I loved it. I love the idea that everybody's chasing, and he says at the end, "This is what dreams are made of," right? It's iconic line, but I love the whole idea that this is all made up. This isn't actually real. And now they're on to the next quest. We're on like to try to find the real one. We keep pushing forward, and you're always like, I wonder if he'll ever get it. It probably won't, but that's the whole idea.
Just
and
so for the guy, everyone who maybe hasn't seen the movie or
sorry.
Sure. So the ending is they've been, all the bad guys are trying to get this bird. It's a gold.
Yeah, like jewels, bronze.
Yeah, it had it was gold, bronze, covered in jewels, and so it was taken from a king from Spain, and then like passed around and ended up everywhere.
To, like Russia at one point, I think, didn't it? Like it's been all over.
Yeah. And it's essentially worth in the movie like $1 million, right? That's kind of the number they land on. So.
And they like, to hide the appearance of this bird, they covered it in paint. Someone did along the line just to like hide its value, and only the people that were aware of this bird existed.
The believers.
The believers. Yeah. They knew its value, and so for the ending, like they're fighting over this bird, and it's not the real deal. It doesn't end up being the real thing. So go on, Connor.
No, yeah. So just with that, it's perfect, right? It's just perfect. We've been hunting for something all movie, and it does not exist.
And people died over it.
Right. Yeah. We've murdered people. Exactly. It feels like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark for me, right? Is we're hunting for this ark, hunting for it, and then we finally get it. And then what do? We try to utilize it, and actually it's a disaster, right? So same thing with the bird, right? It's just I call it like fugazi, right? Matthew McConaughey says it in Wolf of Wall Street. So I love using it. But it's not real. It's something that you're always going to be chasing, but who knows if you're going to actually get the real thing. And so with that in mind, I do love the ending, not spoiling plot here, but I love how him and O'Shaughnessy talk, and she makes that comment where she says, if it would have been the real thing, would you be turning me in? And he's like, that would have sweetened your side. Like, maybe. Yeah. But I'm in the business of, if your partner gets killed, I have to find who did it, and you did it. And it's so self-interest oriented. And I do love that, because, every good movie, there has to be one person that can't be just super altruistic, right? There has to be one person that's just like, I'm in it for me. I joke Star Wars is kind of like that, where Han Solo is the audience avatar, where he's like, yeah, why the hell am I going to fight something called the Death Star when I can just get paid and leave? But, in this, it's kind of the same way. And I do love that main character, just, he lives in that gray, right? He turns her in, which is the right thing, but he maybe did it for the wrong reason.
And I love that too. Like, I mean, in 1941, like, people certainly did that kind of stuff, but that wasn't like what you talked about, right? Like, everybody had to do the right thing, and that's what movies are about. And like, so this is like, I think was probably shocking to audiences to have like the main character, like the hero, be like that. which is pretty cool. It's exciting.
Definitely. I saw on this the budget. It's so funny looking at budgets. By the way, budget on this was $320,000. I want to say,
Oh, wow.
and then the box office was 1.75 million. So it's like, wow,
Oh my
they
God.
really
They
the
made
audience loved
big.
Yeah.
it did. But yeah, it's really weird. Like as a whole story arc, you get all these characters introduced, and I think that's what Carolina, as you're writing your Noir script, which I've read the sample, which I appreciate, and thank you for it. I can tell that's kind of what you're trying to do, right? Is you're trying to introduce this world, but more importantly, let's pull one or two characters from this part of the world. Let's pull one or two from this part, right? And then let's bring them together and let's kind of see how they interact. And that's what's more interesting. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. I love that kind of character where it's that they flirt with the line between, what self-interest and someone else's, because they're all infatuated with kind of the wrong things like money and power or like status or all these like bad characters, but even the good guys, like they get roped into that. And it's funny because it's also a human like element. Like we all can get tempted by those kinds of things. And then it goes down to like, what's really important to you as a person? What do you want out of life? These deep questions that I ask myself as I write,
Well, yeah. And at the same time, it's great at the beginning. He gets easily bribed. She gives him
that's
like
the thing.
$200.
It was so funny. I was like, oh, he just took that, like whatever.
But then like also at the end, whenever Gutman gives him the 10,000 and he has to give it back and he's like, well, I'm keeping this for what I did, but then he like ends up giving that money to the police too. So it's like he is bribable, but he also is like doing the right thing and like
It's a rare sense of moral code where it borders, right? But at the end of the day, it typically is, no, I'm going to take part in like the truth, right? And what the reality is. He warped it a little bit, right? With the money, for example, he warped it a little bit, but it was all actually in the name of what's right and what's morally sound. And I think I would have been interesting. I would have liked, I guess, a sequel with this they're making, but none of the actors could get together for it. It's unfortunate, but I would have liked a sequel to see the opposite, right? What happens if they have the real bird? At that point, it's like, okay, let's walk away. Let's all go together. I'm done. I don't need to have this shop. Case closed. I don't know what happened. And now we're all rich. I find that kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah. I was almost waiting. This is the second time I've seen it, but the first time I saw it, I was almost waiting for him to like somebody else to scrape more after and find out that it was the real thing. And that was just like another layer underneath and,
Right. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome if Cairo did that and then like ran away with it. Right?
I thought he was going to have a different bird. I thought he had faked it. I thought he had basically molded his own, gone in there with a fake one, and then kept the real one for himself. Which that's I guess a little too in the weeds. But
what I like is like pivoting back to what you said, Connor. I like that, and this is kind of like a theme for the noirs too. Is it comes down to like searching for the truth at the end of the day. So I think I like that ending, that it's not about getting this quest for the bird, but more for the quest for the truth as to what happened. And that's what I enjoy so much about film noir. It's like finding the truth to the story of the like whatever happened, like the killings or the love affairs. Like, where's the truth to all of that? Why is this happening?
And there's a great line she says, I don't know what's the truth and what's a lie anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love that. I thought it was a great line. I was
That's
like,
a great
absolutely.
line. Oh, I love the lines too. Like, I just love the dialogue to film noir. It's so good. It's so good. Who is your guys' least favorite character? Mine was, I think, what's his name? Wilmer or whatever. The guy who kept stalking him.
I had Cairo as my least favorite.
Get out of here. He was probably.
He's an odd. I think it's because he's an oddball. He's kind of like pissed me off. I'm like, oh man, like this guy's got a bit of a punchable face. I don't like what's his deal. Like I was basically waiting for them to sell him out at the end because I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. But then your boy Wilmer came along. My goodness, what a character! Just the guy looks terrible. He looks like he's suffering from PTSD the whole time. It's awful. I'm like, I feel kind of bad for him now.
I have to say, probably my least favorite is Miles' wife, his widow, Iva, I think is her name. She's just annoying. Like, bitch, you're not that sad. Come on.
I know. She's in her funeral blacks like the entire time, being so dramatic.
Poor Effie had to like
days.
stay at her house for days and calm her down. Like, come on. Or
Effie was like my favorite character, I think. Aside
she
from
was cool.
Sam Spade. She was so cool. She was like, I got you. I'm on it. And like I kind of like I would love to have a movie centered around her, like someone like working with a hard-boiled detective like him, you know? Like I feel like that would be interesting because she was pretty cool.
I think just watching it, I don't know this for certain, of course, but watching Mad Men, I think it's kind of that Peggy Olson effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is you get like as Mad Men, they're probably writing like, what happens if instead of the show have it center around him, but also center around her and her just relationship dealing with this crap all the time. And I agree. She's a really good character. I was really waiting for her at the end though, like come through and maybe like join the group, right, and call the police on her own or something. But unfortunately, the script didn't have that. But, yeah.
Well, listeners, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It's like $3 to rent on iTunes or something. it's not that hard to find. And Connor, why don't you tell our listeners how they can find you, your podcast and your social media and all that?
Yeah, thanks, guys. So we're on Instagram. We are officially, it's Off Script on podcast, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. I honestly lose track of all the different outlets. But if you have an iPhone, you can find us. If you have a Google phone or whatever it is, you can find us. But we're on Facebook, but Instagram's pretty big is where we do a lot of our stuff. And we are on Off Script Online there. We also have a website, offscriptonline.com, where we just do different articles and things like that. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on. It's been great. You guys do wonderful work, by the way. Wonderful work.
Thank you.
Now that we're Zooming, I can bring you guys in. We can do a different one on my end. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Would love that.
Cool.
This was actually a lot of fun. I would love to do this again. Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thank you guys for having me. And you guys, no tea today, but that's all right. Maybe next time.
Right.
Yes, virtual tea time. All right, Connor, thanks so much.
Yes, thank you, Connor. And thank you, listeners. And we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to Femme Regard Podcast. If you like what you hear, tune in next time for more tips on the filmmaking business and insightful conversations with industry professionals over tea.
We can only grow with your support, so please subscribe, share, rate, and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. If you leave us a great comment, we might give you a shout out on the show. For more on us, check us out at femregard.com.